this? Okay. Sorry, things coming up on my computer. Hello. Let me just hook up my camera. Oh. I wonder if I could pull this chat out. Nope. No, I can't do that. All right, well, let's see if that works. I'm gonna put my camera on and then we'll get started on some. I'm gonna try roasting with high beam today and using their auto heat tracking features and see how that works out. I'm still working on the PT 100 stuff. Basically, I have a PT 100 RTD set on this one. Let me put that picture up. Sorry. Come on. There we go. Front. Dude switch. Nope. There we go. Okay. Anyways, so yeah. So roasting on with the high beam today. So 2 units, same pretty much the same 2 units, just the probe is different. So this one has a thermocouple, and then this one has the PT 100 RTD, and then just kind of seeing what the difference are. Basically, right now I don't have either of them filtered. Like when you get your temperatures, you usually try to filter them and make sure the sample looks nice and smooth because of things like noise. But I'm trying it unfiltered and seeing how that goes. And I already noticed a difference between these two when it comes to that. But right now the PT 100 is a little bit better just because I think less amount of filtering, but it's also slower. So if you're doing something like PID, if you want to do your pit control on your roaster, usually people like to use thermocouple because it's faster, and your and speed is really important when it comes to roasting. When you really want to get into PID control, I'm not the hugest fan of PID. I think it's auto roasting is kind of, to me, is kind of I think it's kind of lame. Just because you're not doing, like, I don't know, you're not doing all the work. You're having a computer do most of the hard work of tracking it, and you just kind of watch and see the numbers change. And I don't know. I guess I don't have that interest in doing that, but I am very interested in setting it up and things like that. So, but anyways, we'll try using high beam. So you get to see how well I tried implementing putting our the probe, like max amplifier boards into high beam. It's a little simple, but it's kind of, I don't know, connecting high beam sometimes is a pain in the ass. So that's my biggest like complaint about high beam. And it's mostly just on our end because all the code is generated by the community and me. Well, pretty much me and another guy who do the code, and he's doing most of the work, but it's still kind of like a little pain to set up, I admit. But I think it's pretty good considering that there's like, I have no coding experience from prior. I actually work in the medical field. And the other guy actually, I think, is a coder. And he did the brunt of the coding for making it work properly instead of me kind of ghetto coding stuff. Vibe coding, I think, is what they called. Vibe coding it for it to work. So right now it's a modified version of the current high beam setup, or high beam firmware. I just added the PT100 and the thermocouple amplifiers on. Pretty much how the Arduino websites state. And I'll upload that code later. But anyways, let's go play with the power tracking feature on this. I'm going to hook up the tablet, and we are going to check out just power tracking. But if you have any questions, feel free to type them up in chat. Oh, kind of on the Discord chat. I think there's a YouTube channel chat, but I don't really check that one. But there's Discord chat here. This area. I think you just have to click the show chat button. Or if you have a question, you can raise your hand, apparently. Show requests. If anybody wants to talk about anything, I'll leave the mic open too. But let's go hook this up. I'm gonna hook my tablet in here. Come on. All right. Now I have to connect it to, I have to use CRP. Let me see the command for that. Is it CPY? Whatever. I'll just look up the. Open a terminal. There we go. So when where'd it go? What happened? Hold on. Sorry. SCRCPY. SCRC. Allow. There we go. All right. So here it is. Let's go start that up. I'm going to plug in the units. Show chat. All right. So let's go to window. All right. So now let me connect the Skywalker. We'll use the PT100. No, we'll do the PT100. We'll do the thermocouple first. I'll show you that one. So this is the thermocouple one. We'll do the tracking features on this. I'm just going to plug this in. Got the blue light turned on. Now you're going to see why it's so clunky to get this going sometimes. So give that a few seconds to kind of set up for the high beam. And then, so let me just add a unit, make it easier. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to go ahead and hit the, and this is version 10.43. And what I also recommend people to do is to go to developer mode and activate enable device terminal control, this thing. It's very useful if you want to debug some stuff and help the community out figure out what's wrong with what's going on with our units. If you're having trouble connecting. We're still tracking that, so that anything is appreciated. So, all right, we're going to add a V1. So let's go ahead. I'm going to tilt this way. There we go. Add a V1. We're going to hit the plus sign at the top right. I'm going to scroll down. These are all the roasters that are available. And then there's the high beam unit coming out soon, which for those who have difficulty using the ESP32 bins or want something more programmed a little bit better by someone who's not just some random dude from the medical field, they know they're going to have their own little unit that you can purchase from them. But I think it's like 40, 50 bucks versus the ESP32 you could buy for like $5. So be up to you, but it'll definitely be more user friendly. Anyways, so we go check out the roaster. You can hit Skywalker. 2 units, right? So you have Skywalker HB, which is the home beam or high beam develop board, and then you have the develop community board. So just hit the bottom one. That's us. For us, we look for ESP32 Sky Command BLE, which is the top one. I kind of just stuck with that name. You really don't. I might change it, but we'll just hit that one. This gets a lot of people hung up because they're like, oh no, it's not working. Sometimes you just have to hit complete and pray. Okay, good. It went straight to device. So it says go to device. So that means it's working. Sometimes it doesn't connect. And that's why, I look at the terminal and kind of see what's going on. This gives you like a wealth of information. Like, oh, what's going on? It kind of gives you, it's just pretty much the data logger. So that helps us a lot if you could post, a picture of that of what's going on when you're having issues. But right now it's functioning fine. I'll probably just try to re-query the weather info because, the more telemetry data you have, the better it kind of is set up for. So, all right. What I want to do now is I'm going to go to device, and it's showing there's manual roasting and auto roasting. I want to replace the log, so I'm going to go to auto roasting. Then I want to use a different log. So I'm going to hit replace the log. I'll probably choose one of these curves, maybe the last one here. Confirm. So maybe I want to use that one or replace the log with something else. Maybe I want to do this one. So this is just any roast that you either use the QR code that you got from a friend or that's posted online, or this is just one that you did like previous. So this is just the previous roast I have. So I think this is the thermocouple one. Yeah, this is thermocouple. And then I'm going to try this one. Hit confirm. We're going to do this one because it has a little bit better decline in the ROR, and that's what we're kind of going for. It's a nice and controlled descent. What a lot of people aim for. But you could do what you want to do when you do roast. But some people like to follow this kind of guideline. It also kind of depends on what kind of bean you want. Maybe you want to extend it out a little bit longer, or you want to shorten it up. I think we just had somebody just did like a 7-minute, maybe a 6-minute and 30-second roast. They said it came out great. So just don't, you don't have to believe what everyone says online, or it has to be a certain way. You could always test and retest, and if you like it, you win. That's all it is. You just have to like your roast. Don't feel like you need to follow anyone's kind of guide. Just kind of follow your roast and just use your data, like the ROR and curve, just to kind of emulate it if you want to do that exact same thing, because it's the whole purpose of it. Just to get a roast that fits you and that you like. All right. So now we're going to do auto roasting. So I'm going to hit start auto roasting, and it's going to tell you everything. Like, you don't really want to mess with the heat, power, or airflow. Kind of keep that all to like 0 and just kind of let it alone to keep it doing when you're doing the roast. But you want to set up the preheats, right? So you hit I know. Let's double check if this thing even works. I should have checked that first. So I'm going to hit drum. Okay. That's working. Fan. I'll put it to 100 just to make sure it works. But I usually keep it to like 70, 75, maybe 80 sometimes. I really have no kind of rhyme or reason. I just want to make sure that there's good airflow. If you look up the lighter test on testing your airflow, you want it kind of set up to where you put a lighter to the front, and then you kind of just see, you put a lighter in front, and then you kind of just tilt it, and if the flame goes that way, like towards the roaster, that's usually enough airflow. That's what Rob Hoos recommended on his blog, and I usually follow him. I'm a huge fan of him, so that's what I usually stick to. I'll just kind of put a flame in there, and last time it was at 75. But you can put more or less. You just make sure that there's airflow going through and that there's a flame going in, instead of like it being stagnant. If you see it blow out and it's a brand new unit, more than likely your exhaust fan is pointed in the wrong direction, or they hooked it up wrong from the factory. I mean, that's very common to have, so don't feel like, yeah, definitely want to fix that. So you'd have to open up the back and then reverse the polarity of the wires in the back. I think I have a video where I showed someone how to do that, but feel free to test that out first. You can also test it out up top by putting a piece of paper, and if you have like the paper go upwards, that means it's blowing air out, which is fine. But if the paper is sticking down and getting stuck from the exhaust, kind of like if it gets stuck in the exhaust over here, or this the exhaust over there. I usually put a piece of paper here if I want to make sure that the paper is getting blown out. That means that there's airflow going out the roaster, which is what you want. But if it's kind of staying in or kind of getting sucked in a little bit, that usually means your fans on your roaster are spinning the wrong direction. So you just have to remove the back and then reverse the polarity on the fan exhaust motor. It's pretty easy. Anyways, let's get back to this. All right, so first thing you want to do is always want to preheat. You want to build up that thermal inertia, kind of set it up, get your roast going. Don't recommend going up to 100 because that usually kills your bulb. I think mostly recommend like 90, 85%. And we're kind of just going to wait to see how long that takes. Let's go back to window. And I'm gonna be a good home roaster and make sure I took the chaff out. I didn't. So let me make sure to always clear that out before you start a roast. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna blow it out. So let me turn off my mic real quick. All right, I blew that out. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll probably, if you get one of these air units, they're really awesome to have. You just blow air into it, and then you'll have a chaff party. I forgot to turn the mic off on that one. My bad. But I usually use that to clear out the chaff that's stuck in there. All right. So let's put that back in. Let's. Damn it! I moved the unit. See, this happens too. Sometimes the unit will cut off after a few seconds if I move it. So if I do any kind of movement, especially with this one machine, I think the USB is a little bit loose at the other end. So I got to fix that before I send it out to whoever I was going to sell this to. And that might be a board issue. I'd have to open it up and then maybe tighten up the USB things in the back. But if I like jiggle it a certain way, it gets really angry. Yeah, this one's all kind of messed up. This is one of the units I'm still trying to fix up. So apologies on that. But let me heat that back up. Let me check the YouTube chat. Anybody been roasting with theirs? Anybody have any fun stories? Anyone burn down their unit yet? Sorry. I know it's not a good joke, but we've had a couple people have a few fires. I know there's a lot of people having a good experience with the stock controller too, which I'm kind of happy about. I just don't like the stock controller because I'm not a fan of the resistive touchscreen. It feels, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I just don't like the way it feels when I touch it. I need like a physical button. I need to feel the depression and the up, but yeah. Oh, you just got Pops. You just got your V2. That thing will roast pretty solidly out the box. The biggest issue I find with the V2 that I really hate is that they don't let you graph ROR, which I know is a little bit more advanced. If you haven't been roasting and you don't really need to look at ROR, you kind of just want to start roasting and getting used to all the phases you're going through. But I've come accustomed to using ROR to kind of figure out how fast or how slow my roast is going. I use that as my roast speedometer. But if you're just starting in your first roast with it, then some of the big things you need to, I think people should focus on is just watching the bean temperature, and then seeing what the phases come, dry phase and first crack, second crack. Yeah, I think out the box it does a pretty good job if you want to use Artisan with it. The Bluetooth is kind of weird. There's been some issues that people have, like where it drops off, or not drops off, but if you roast and it's gone. someone did show me the keep on sampling thing, where just make sure it keeps sampling and it keeps the roaster on. Basically, it doesn't disconnect. So it's a nice little fix that someone figured out. I think I did that on my last video where I turned that keep sampling on because I eventually disconnected from the roaster and then I couldn't find it again on Bluetooth. Yeah. Have you roasted on anything before? Have you roasted on like... You know what? I've heard good things about Gene Cafes, except the new recent ones, they have this new feature where you have to like... I think you have to monitor your roast and then you have to press the button exactly at a certain time, just like the B-Mores did. And I hated that on the B-More. Not that I was like being aloof and walking away from my roaster, but it was just annoying that I could totally lose my roast if I wasn't paying attention at that exact time. I think the old ones, honestly, I think the old ones are better, and they're proven. I mean, I think I've had people tell me they've been roasting on their Gene Cafe for like 10 years without any issue, and I'm like, that just blows my mind. I think the roast cafes are pretty solid. And the Gene cafes are pretty solid. I think the Sweet Maria poppers are pretty fun. They fixed a bunch of issues on that one. A lot of quality issues where they would just like die. I had one that died, and then they literally just sent me another one. I think it's like it's probably like what, $15 to make or something, or $20 to produce, or $50. I know it's not that expensive. Yeah, they're really solid machines. I don't know if they've gone up in price, but so between that, a fresh roast, and I don't like. I should say be more. I think they're fine if you are. I just had a bad experience with them. Yeah, that's mostly why people go to the Skywalkers, because they want to have more data and they want to track their roast and they want to do things like repeat roast profiling, and they just want to like see how different effects of temperature at time and all that kind of stuff affects their roast, which is pretty cool. Oh, I'm gonna turn the drum on so you can see the effects of. We'll go look at this. So I'm at 186 degrees. I'm gonna turn the drum on. You can kind of see how it changes the heat. Man, this is good. Oh man, what is wrong with this drum? It got worse over time. Whoa. Turn the heater off real quick. Yeah, I do. I'll actually, I think I put it on the high beam thing. That was my latest profile. But I'm kind of running into an issue with this one. I think the drum is getting out of whack. What the hell? Oh. Okay, we're copacetic, I think. Okay, so this one I obviously got to fix because let me show you. The window is pretty much hitting the drum. Um, that will cause an E3 problem real quick. I wonder if that's been an issue with other folks too. But yeah, I really just had to pull away the window from the drum, like where it sits, and I just pulled it back just so that the doesn't scrape against here. I could already see the scrape marks on the drum. Kudos for the drums for taking it like a champ. I'm gonna vent that out. you definitely don't want to make it too high. I think I made this a little too high. The temperature right now is like ridiculous. It's like 215 degrees Celsius. That's pretty high. So I'm just gonna let it cool off a bit. I usually like to set it at the temperature I'm gonna roast at, which is around 198. Let it there for 5 minutes as the preheat, and then I'll start putting the beans in. Oh, what we're roasting today? I'm gonna do a geisha. Look, I could share that. I think let me share this. I can't share it now, but I'll share the roast after I'm done. Roast profile. Actually, let me see if it's in high beam still. Might be in my Drive account. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and post up the photo here for that. Drive. Dang, you roasted on a 10-kilogram deater? How did that feel? Is that... Does it take a long time for like the heat to respond? Like, are you putting like 30-second temperature changes in? I don't know if it's... I don't even know if that's a convection or conduction roaster or a drum roaster. That's not it. Is this it? That's not it. How about this one? No. I think this is it. Here, I'll post this one up. Download. Oh, let me turn my fan back on. Or my heater back on. I'm just gonna put it here too, just so you could, in case we need to reference it. But this is the one I'm gonna use today. Now I'm gonna preface this, like, if you use these profiles, they're not necessarily gonna work the same exact way for you, especially now that I'm using a thermocouple. Yeah, the QR code allows you to import it, but I'm not using the standard NTC probe. I'm using, this one's the thermocouple for this machine. But you just have to be wary that the results won't be exactly the same, but they're a profile you can follow and see how it goes. You might not get the exact same ROR curve, but because every bean, every type is going to be different. But it just depends on I don't want to say that's like you have to use this profile. You could kind of set yours up and kind of follow, but I know some people have difficulty like getting that declining ROR curve. It's really hard like when you first start out because you're like, what the hell am I doing? But it gets easier over time. All right, so I'm roasting up. I'm gonna roast up. Where's my cup at? Usually have a cup I can put all my beans in. Let's turn this heat down a bit. No, that won't do. Big old hole in it. All right, let me grab my big old cup. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put my logo screen on. This is my weight screen. I turned the heater off, so I'm not technically leaving it unattended. Be right back. All right. Front. Okay. So I'm gonna measure it out. So what I use for measuring my beans out now, I use like these little to-go cups. Like I got this at a pho place, or you can go to any restaurant. I really like them. So I'm gonna tear this off. Thank you. Teared that off. I'm gonna put the beans in. So let's go roast this gesha. Now I put these videos up on later every time just so I can make sure people are, being able to follow them and hopefully be used as a guide to help you with your roasting adventures. All right. Let's see if anyone's on YouTube. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead. I will pour these in. Let's see where we're at. We're at 186 to 87 degrees Celsius. So we'll wait a little bit more. We'll drop those in. Let me make sure this is on. Let me get one of these little pans. Don't forget this. Gonna put that back in. Sorry for the noise. It's the drum is scraping. I got to take this one apart and then put it back together later. Okay, we hit 201. I'm gonna back the temperature off. I'm gonna let it drop down to 180. I don't know, 180. We'll say 180, 197, 198. And always try your best to keep with the same preheating preheating routine that you do. Mine, I usually do 5 minutes after it reaches 200 degrees Celsius and let it hold there. But for now, I'm just gonna do it this way. And I think this is the version of High Beam I didn't put the PID tuning stuff in, so, or not PID tuning, PID hardware PID inside it, so I gotta fix that code up later to add all the PT100 additions on. PT100 and thermocouple. But anyways, so let's wait. Let me go check here. Mike Mathis. It is, this is a V1 I'm playing with. There's a little bit more options to play with than with High Beam on the V1. They allow me to do things like, add the hardware PID control stuff. And what else? And it's just a more I can actually customize the firmware to like put PT100s and thermocouple stuff on. So where we're kind of limited on the V2 because it goes straight out of the board. The TC4 goes straight out of the board via Bluetooth into High Beam. So there's not much you can do in terms of like adding a probe or adding more telemetry to it. But it is out of the box. It works pretty well. Batch size is going to be 350 grams this time around. And we're going to use we're going to use the heat tracking thing. I kind of want to show everyone how that looks like. So let me move chat over here to where I can see it better. Oh, it doesn't let me, but okay. So next, just gonna wait till it gets back up to temp. I keep missing the temp. I'll focus on that. So start heating, start preheating. Oh, start preheating. I should click that. I don't remember I put auto charge on, so we'll keep an eye on that. So let's go back to window. Let's go check this part out. I got it to, I hit preheat. So now it's charged. I'm gonna wait till about 198. Hopefully the drum doesn't mess up as much as it was before. Okay, let's go dump the beans in. Oh, fuck. There we go. Charge. Had a few beans not make it in, so tossing those pretty late. All right, now I'm just gonna kind of let it do its thing. So right now, you could look at the line. This is where that like initial preheat and thermal inertia comes in. Because right now, I think I preheated longer than that 5 minutes. I kind of left it on and off, and it kept going like to 220 and up. And now it's a lot higher than what it was the last roast was. So that's why it's kind of important to have good preheat temperatures. Like to make sure you stick with the same routine of like if you do warm it up and heat it up to 5, that it stays the same. You don't try to change it. Whoa. I think this is where the noise starts affecting the roast if I don't start filtering. Look at these jagged marks. Really jagged. Really a lot of up and down. Oh my god. All right. All the flicks and crashes. So this is probably not the greatest look. We'll see how it goes. We should go through our first drop in temperature. About now. Good. I think it's natural. Yeah, Mike, this might not be thy best attempt. I think the thermocouple is just, I think it's just too noisy. It's like a basketball how much it's jumping up and down. Alright, this will be the next drop in temperature coming up soon. You just see how these beans are turning out. They don't smell as sweet as the last one I did. I think those lines, the reason why it's so bad is just because I didn't filter out the thermocouple readings. And I guess what you're supposed to do with thermocouple is that they're so fast where you want to like oversample them and then filter. I didn't put any filter on. I was using the PT100 before and there was no filter on it. And it had a lot better readings than this. We'll do that unit next. I still got a lot of this geisha left. Alright, I hit the dry phase. Oh wait, you know, the previous roast wasn't this noisy. Like this one's a lot of noise. I'm really surprised how much it is and how much smoothing you probably got to use with a thermocouple. But people don't use thermocouple for the precision though. They always use the thermocouple for the speed of it. So I think people like to oversample and then filter, and then I think it works better with like PID controlled systems where that speed is really, really important. So I think the next one we'll do, I will warm that one up to do the next one. It would be the PT100. We'll see how that goes. Holy guacamole, that is I'm not making any changes. This is all done by the heat tracking system and high beam. If you really look at the ROR, it kind of can see it's going in a downward trend. I haven't heard first crack yet. This probe is a thermocouple. My other one is a PT100. I put two different probes. I set them up with their own amplifiers. So the thermocouple is using the Max 6675. And then the other one is using a 65135, I forget. But they're all using their own amplifiers. There it is. There's first crack. I gotta hear the symphony. There it is. 1, 2. There. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I gotta put this on the Agtron. I think this is gonna be a darker one. I've been shooting for medium, but I might actually pull this out at 1:30. There's the drop. Always, if you're using the internal cooler, always agitate your beans. It's just going to leave hot spots if you leave it at one area, so you want to make sure you're moving it around, agitating the beans, making sure those hot spots don't reach second crack. I've had that happen before. It's kind of funny, because you'll just see like a center mass, like maybe the hot spot's over here, and you just see like this big old billowing smoke and darker beans right in one section, because all the heat amassed over there. So you always want to make sure you're agitating it, making sure, you know, you're cooling them off evenly to your best of ability. All right, let's go take a look at that ROR curve. So there is, if you look at it, there is a little, there's a downward trend going on, right? So it is bouncing around. Let me complete the log on this. Oh, so let's, we can always use post filtering, I guess, or filtering the curves. You could go normal, and then to make me feel better, I'll go to slow. And then you can see the downward trend right here. See, there is a downward trend. So it looks okay. It was kind of following it. You know, just there's a lot of noise in the probe, and that's more of a probe issue and more of my issue because I didn't set a filter on it, right? We have a filter on the Sky Command, the original Sky Command code too, so. Yeah, without the noise, I think it looks fine. Like if we just do what we just did and just kind of, you know, smooth out all that stuff, and you can see actually that downward trend, so it looks good. I'm kind of curious to see how it tastes. But what I do find interesting though is when I use a thermocouple, I notice that it follows the things like first crack are reached at the temperature that usually you see them at, like on websites where it's like 995 degrees and things like that. Let's see. First crack was at charge, DE, development, training point. Let's see. Get out of this screen. So yeah, it hit like first crack at 195.8. On the PT100, it actually been hitting at like low 180s, like 185, 184. I think one time it was 183. So we're going to do this exact same profile. I'm not going to change it, and I'm going to do it on the PT100 roast. But let me let this cool off first. That looks good. Let's take a peek. No burnty boys, no scorching, that's kind of good. No flat-sided burns. I mean, probably the lighting is making it look uneven. But to me, it looks even so far, even enough. Actually got a lot of the chaff out too. So this, I'm gonna call this a medium. I'll use my my grinder. We'll use the heater meter, or heat meter, or whatever it's called. We'll use this thing. I'll use this next to kind of this is the Agchon scale or the heater meter that I'll use, or meter heater. I forget what it's called, but it's the open source one. I need to get this implemented with high beam too, so we can have that, like, add the Agchon stuff to your roast as well. turn this one off. All right, let me save this first. This is with the Gesha, roasting complete. Yeah, let's measure this too. Why not? Let me turn off the blower. Let me turn off the drum and the fan. Oh, we do have one burnty boy. I'll show that to you later. So you'll have maybe in your roast, you'll have like a burnt bean every once in a while. A burnt bean at the flat earth. And you get a proper funnel. All right, so let's complete the log. I got 302. So 350 to 302, complete log. So I did 350, completed weight is about 302. 13.7, weird, okay. Dang, Mike is a whiz. Mike got it on the point. 13 to 14. I was thinking 14 to 15. I think Mike, he's been at it for a while too. I think I remember him from, I think he's one that he still has the first gen. Mike, do you have the first gen V1 with the one where we popped off that top lid or that top metal point? Let's see what he says. Oh, error is open. Something about YouTube. Hold on. YouTube creator. That looks fine. YouTube not receiving, whatever. Okay, anyways, only 4 concurrent viewers. All right, I'm gonna move this one aside. We're gonna do the PT100 one. My mic working? I think my mic is working. I don't know if I turned it off. I really hope I have it on. Oh, thank God. All right. So now D Holyman. Okay, thanks D. I'll just call you D. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try out the PT100 unit now. This one's all nice and hot, so let me move that out the way. Let me get this camera up. All right, next unit up is, let me pull this out. Surprisingly not hot to touch, all right. pulled that sucker out. Hoo-yah! All right. And Mike is one of the OGs. He's been roasting on this for quite a bit. All right. So right here is my little amplifier board, the Max 3 1865. So I accidentally pulled on the wire, so I got to put these back in. I never got to crimp them like I said I was going to, so shame on me. I was supposed to crimp these with nice little ferrules, or furls, or whatever they're called. Not furries, but ferrules. These are like little just janky Phoenix connectors. Okay. I didn't do tight enough on that one. I should have just did a JST connector. I don't know why I use these stupid Phoenix connectors. All right, fine. I'm just going to shove that whole wire in there. That's my stomach, sorry. Okay. All right. So that's in here. Plug that in. Let's go back to here and let's reconnect. So I think with every new unit or every ESP32 you have to reconnect it. So, or delete the. Let me fix this. Delete the connection and then do reconnection. Exit. So since it's a new unit, I'll hit delete device, delete. And then we're going to add another V1. Oh, let me plug it in. Oh. Okay. Let's go back. While Skywalker comes. ESP32 BLE. Let's hope this pairs nicely. Give it a minute. Make sure it pairs okay. Perfect. Check all that stuff. We're gonna nerd out real quick. Actually, let me preheat the unit first, and we'll nerd out a little bit. Let's do the same thing. I'm gonna keep that same profile. Heat power tracking is the one you want to be on. You don't want to be on beam temp tracking. That's the use of the PID algorithm. We don't have one built in yet. Well, I think we do. I think Nam put one in. I haven't played with it yet, so I'm sticking with the bean one until I get to play with this. All right, so I'm going to hit start auto roasting. It's going to tell me what I need to know. So I'm just going to set the fan to 70. We'll do 75. And then drum and heater. We'll set the heater to 90. That is really loud. This must be an older unit. Ugh, anyways, sorry. You know you worked with them too much when you could turn one on that you've been working on, and it's like, oh, this is an old unit. That motor's old. Sounds like ass. All right. So we'll do a quick rundown. So if you ever go to development mode, you could hit this thing called little console, and then you can kind of just see what all this stuff is. So if we look at it, let's see if I could stop it real quick. So it could give you what the error warnings are, info, but mostly you want to do verbose, and it kind of just gives you all the info that's sending. So every time you see these little raw read things, that's the read handle. That means the roaster's sending a read command, and TC4 sends back these numbers: 20, 20.6, 39.9, 90, 75, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of how the TC4 protocol works. It literally just says read, and then the information gets sent back with these numbers, and then it just does that back and forth. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the drum off. We could let it heat up this way. The drum is a little offensive to my ears. So we're gonna try sticking with the same preheat as I did with the thermocouple one. So we'll see how that goes, okay? What else? Mike, you're on Discord, right? I know you've been doing it for a while, so I wonder if I could get you on like chat, just to chat about your experiences using the Skywalker, because you've been doing it probably longer than me. I'll see what he says. But yeah, I think this guy Mike Mathis, I've seen his name a lot, and I think he's been roasting for quite a long time with the Skywalker. So I want to see what he's changed and what updates he's done to his. I can't think of anything else I could talk about. Maybe make sure this works. That's fine. Oh, let's go measure up the Gesha beans. My expensive Gesha beans. Oh, shoot. Put this in a bag. I'll bag this stuff up, and then I'm going to re-measure out some more Gesha beans, and we'll start this roast on auto tracking again. And I think auto tracking has been doing a pretty good job keeping it consistent. In terms of like you wanting to do the same batch roast over and over. I think it does a pretty good job. Okay. Nope. That was a bad idea. Okay. Let that heat up for a bit. I'm Grab a little cup. There you go. Let's open this up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, so $177. Okay, measure that 350 grams. I'm gonna turn the drum on because usually if I turn the drum on, you'll start to see the temperature change dramatically. Not dramatically, but maybe it just gets up a little bit higher. All right. 209, I'm gonna bring the heater down. I'll let that temp go up and then I'll wait till that fixes itself. Okay, and then I will bring that back here. I'm just moving my camera around. Here's it from the front. This one I think it can move a little bit better. There we go. Oh, and if you're interested in the V2, I think there's still some more spots in the sign up. If you look in the group buy section in the Discord, I think I have like 23 people that paid so far, so it's rolling along pretty well. I think I don't have 20 spots. I have waiting for maybe like 15 other people to respond. Usually you have a few dropouts, so. Especially when the international folks get theirs. Oh, I say international. When anyone, like people from Switzerland, they get the shipping costs, and it's like $156 from China to Switzerland. But it's cheaper if you send it to France, apparently. It's like $96 versus $150. So for all my international people out there, if you're in Switzerland, I'm very sorry. But shipping from the China to Canada, I think was only like $86. I think if I were to ship something to somebody, like a roasted to Canada, I think it's about $100. About the same. A little bit more. But yeah, just DM me if you have any questions about it, or find us on the Discord server. It should be under group buy. All right, that seems to cool off. I'm gonna heat it back up. And also the price for the V2 just flat right now is $550 USD. And then whatever shipping, duties, or whatever cost that iTop will send me the quote for that. I think we're done collecting money around the 15th, and then everything should be shipped out. I think they're still making them. because they make I think they make the units to order. I just talked with iTop today about making sure that the units are getting ready. I'm gonna fix OBS because I want to do window. I also want to see a picture of the. Add a video capture device. Osmo. Nope. Let that heat up. Come back down. Yeah, I guess that works. Okay. So I'm gonna hit start preheating. It's all set. That's all set. That's going. Start preheating. Oh, that's a bug. I gotta, because the heater's not on. Okay, good to know. All right, so go back to the device, auto roasting. I gotta remind me that's a bug that should be fixed. Start auto roasting, I know. Make sure that's on. Then start preheating. So I gotta remember to tell Will about that. That's a bug. It should be able to turn on without messing anything up. So I had to restart everything. And before I hit preheat, I gotta make sure I have the heater back on. Or, yeah, continue with preheat. So we'll wait till that gets back up to 197, 198, and then I'll make sure to hit charge. All right. I'll dump this in. Hit charge. Oh, wow. That's fairly impressive. It's really following it. It'll probably peak up. I think because I had it on longer. It's a little bit warmer now than it was at night when I did the initial roast with this curve. So you can tell that the PT100 is just less noise. It's doing this a whole lot better than the thermocouple without filtering. So that's one thing you can notice about the PT100 off the bat. Definitely a whole lot less noise. Yeah, it's following the curve pretty well. But it's not doing it by pre-tracking the bean temperature. It's literally just doing it by what settings, what fan and heat settings were being used at the time. Okay, so yeah, this is auto tracking, just heat tracking. So this is just letting it run its course, try to emulate what it did last time. I'm gonna check if dry phase has occurred. Yeah, dry phase is there. So I'm gonna hit dry end stage. So around 150, I don't know, around 155, 165 is when I'll start checking for dry end phase. Best way to think about when you hit the dry end button is what do the bean colors look like when you pull them out the dryer or looking through the sight glass. If you see any green, it's the drying end phase is not done. But if it's all pretty much dried up and it's kind of like a smell kind of different changes, this one was a little bit sweeter. But usually if it leaves that like grassy smell, I think, is when it starts to get out of that phase. Right now it smells pretty good, and the color of it is just that brown I was looking for. So as long as there's no green, that's usually an indication that dry end phase has. You click the dry end phase button. I don't know how it calculates expected first crack. I wonder if it's going to occur based on just how it did before, or it uses like set values. I think it uses like how it occurred last time. I think 180 was when the first crack occurred on these beans. Oh, I heard one. Now I got to hear the next. I think 3 is like. That's what I look for. You can look for whatever, but I usually wait for like a symphony of 3. Is what I usually tell myself. One. Yeah, there it is. First crack. I think I ran a little bit late on that one. That's another thing that I find interesting is that first crack is happening around the lower 180s, and then when you use a thermocouple, it's like in the 195. What does it mean? It doesn't really mean anything. If you're gonna stick with the same probe, that's the temperature it's gonna go at. That's the ranges it'll probably hit every single time. But I just find it interesting. So for this one, I'm gonna stick to the 2-minute development phase time. I've been liking these on the little bit on the medium side, light medium. Make sure I have my metal bottom in. Then you hit the drop. Extend out a little bit and then another drop will occur. I think it's kind of cool that it's literally kind of following the same pathway as the ROR did last time, so it's pretty accurate, I guess. Okay, got 45 more seconds to the drop, so I'm gonna prep for the drop. Drop. Like confirm. Turn on the bean cooling fans. Grab your stirring stick. Okay, that's the stirring stick. Agitate, agitate, make sure there's no hot pockets that are trying to get to the third crack. I gotta figure out what bean I want to do because I want to do a second crack video. Because I don't know if anyone's have done up to second crack, but it gets kind of chaotic. It's a little more chaotic. There's a lot more smoke, a lot more loud cracking noises. If you ever ventured onto second crack before, it kind of can become a shit show if you don't expect it. There's also potential dangers that you're gonna set your house on fire, right? Right? Yeah, Mike, I'm pretty impressed with the PT100. It stuck to its guns. No, this was I'm using the heat tracking thing. No PID on this one. So I don't know. I feel like PID is a probably be a decent way to go. Not a decent way. I'm heat tracking by just checking the changes in the heater and the fan. Actually, it seems to be a good option. It kept it really well close to the curve. I mean, for a $500 roaster, $400 roaster, I think that's pretty impressive. But yeah, Mike, you could tell like just the noise in general is just way better on the PT100 in terms of less noise compared to the thermocouple. We'll take a little bit larger look at it later. I'm going to see what the measurement was, but it kept pretty on point. So I think if you're doing like a lot of batch roasting, or if you're trying to go do a bunch of back-to-back roasts, I honestly think that this heat tracking part is pretty cool. It's pretty good. I'm trying to set up to where I'm going to make a bunch of roasts soon. I want to do like a marathon back-to-back roasting session for about 2 hours and see how that goes. I want to see how far I can do it with a V2. Just back-to-back roasts. None of that between batch protocol bullshit. I say shit bullshit. Between batch protocol stuff. I mean, it's good for certain roasters. I don't want to wait. I just want to just keep roasting back-to-back. I want to try to break this V2. But yeah, that looks pretty spot on for what the roast is. When you're changing out the PT100 probe, it honestly, for high beam, you just have to, first get the probe. I ordered like 50, so they're drop-in probes. Well, I'll show you what they look like. Here are the thermocouple ones. Let's go to the front camera. Here are the thermocouple ones I have, but I ordered a bunch of them in PT100 that that are same exact mounting specs of the original R probe, the NTC probe. I also ordered like a PT100 4-wire, so it's more accurate. And also, to prevent noise, I got the metal sheathing on it. So this is another nice option if you really want to get rid of all the noise. I'm not using this one yet. I think I want to install this one. I'm excited about it. But yeah, this will be the next one I'll put in for another roaster and then test that out with this same beam using the 4-wire one and see how well that works. This is one supposed to be more accurate and it's more precision, but you don't need that much precision when it comes to coffee roasting. Also, it comes in like these little, the metal sheath to prevent any noise. So this is just extremely nerdy stuff for us, but I just think it's cool. I ordered about 50 of these too. I just have to make a little modification to the drum hole so it fits better into the mounting part, but I don't know. I thought it was cool. You don't have to rely too much on the NTC probe if it goes out, because I think those go out pretty often. And I've been having a lot of noise issues with one of my one of my NTC probes, so I'll be happy to replace that one and put this one on and just stick with high beam. So with that said, I know I've been like kind of like talking about setting up a dual ESP32 where you can run high beam and artisan, not at the same time, but you can do well, you can do it at the same time, but it gets a little funky. But I want to set it up to where, if you want to choose to do artisan, you could do artisan, or if you just plug it into the roaster, into the computer, then you could do, or into the computer you could do artisan. If you just want to do BLE, then you could do high beam. That's one of the next things I want to set up. I want to get that going. I just got to make the code a little bit cleaner and then test it, because I just think it's a lot easier to do the beam tracking heat temp on, or beam heat tracking on the high beam versus when you do it on artisan. There's a lot of configuration you have to do, and artisan can be a little bit more menacing to the newcomers. I think the whole purpose of, like, when people say if I should use high beam or artisan, if you want something more customizable, more advanced, has a lot more features, like especially with PID, has the things like look aheads and things like that, then I would say stick with artisan. But if you want something simple, you just want to roast, but still have like a nice way of monitoring your graphs, collecting your profiles, being able to share with other people, which I think is really huge. I think high beam is where it's at in terms of that. Well, you can't go wrong with any one of them. They'll do the job just fine. High beam, of course, is still in beta, so you're going to have its issues. And literally the code was written by me and some other dude in the Bay Area who fixed all my issues with the code. So, and that's and high beam's letting us to the point where they're allowing, their units to be sold for like 40 to 50 bucks. It might be the price, who knows, for their units, to make it easy plug and play, which I think is a fantastic option. Or they're still embracing the community by allowing us to, like, helping them like put the code in for the community version. But you'll probably get a better user experience with the high beam version, because it'll be easier to install their unit versus the community version, where it's literally just two dudes, or just the community of us just putting code together and then trying to find easy ways to make it user friendly at the low cost of free. So there's no development cost for you. I'm gonna turn that off. Turn this off. Yeah, I have a video. My last video, I showed you how to install it. But if yeah, let me know if you want a probe, and I'll show you exactly what max board I used. I showed you there's a little quirk on it though. Yeah, it's about 30 millimeters. Um, there's a way though that I was when I was installing it, just like last time I was installing it, Mike, where you have to bend the probe at the bottom a little bit, so it goes into like this little groove, because it was actually like pinching against the back piece. This metal, like there's a metal part, this, and this is kind of where the probe goes. So this is kind of what our panel looks like. Yeah, this is what our panel looks like going this way. So this, here's the issue I have to fix. I have to fix that mounting hole. I sent the wrong dimensions to the manufacturer, so I got to fix that. But so that's how it kind of mounts up. And then the thing is that thing extends out too far where it hits this black piece, and it was causing it to like crimp and then lose connection. So I had to like bend this a little bit to go towards this like little hole alley where, because this place is kind of, it just drops in. So I had to just make sure that the wire goes in that direction. And then I could swirl it around and then bring it back to the front. But yeah, I still got a bunch of these. I still got like 50 or 40 of these probes. Um, I'll probably just sell them at like, how much did I buy? Maybe like $5. I think they're like $5 per. I have to do the math. I kind of just bought a bunch of them and then sell them to everyone who wants to try it. Oh, let me know, Mike. Cause I'm working with Precision and they send me all their like broken units that I purchased from them, and I'm literally like shipping them of parts and then making a little parts backup catalog for us. So if people like, people need parts and they're out of warranty, they can call me and I got the backup parts if they need it. Instead of having to go through um iTop or Akimata. They're not really keen on sending just random parts to people. But I wonder if you could just talk with Vanessa and maybe she could send you a panel. I don't know. But if you do need one, I could sell you one. I had a unit that fell off of a truck, literally fell off a Amazon truck. It's all fucked up. So I got parts for that. So that's what I'm kind of saving up for, is just like having these extra parts that people have access to. Yeah, so that was pretty impressive, I will say. Okay, I could set that up. I'm going to Legoland next week, so I probably won't be able. Maybe I can try sending it out to you earlier than that. There's a few roasters I need to put together. Um, Actually, recently, transitioning out of my job, not to do YouTube full time. That's silly. I'm trying to do pretty much do per diem work, spending more time with my kids. So, and doing this too. So, so I'll have more time to send out these roasters to people and more stream time. Let's see. Because right now, I think for some of the units I have here, all my new refurb units, I'm gonna ask if they want to. Yeah, PayPal's fine. That's what I use primarily is PayPal. But primarily when I'm selling my refurb units now, I'm gonna add the option if they want to add a PT100 now, because I have a few of the Max boards, and probably there's probably another extra $20. And then I set it up to a way where I literally keep the extra NTC. It's like it's in here. There's like a hollow crevice, not a crevice, but a hollow indentation here. Then I just leave the PT or the NTC in here, and then so if they do want to go back to using the old controller panel, or they want a spare probe that's still working that just lives in here, then I'm just gonna offer just to offer those V1s to them, because right now if you look at it, if I look at it right now, it's still connected. I have it to a point where it's still connected and sending information. So usually you have these two numbers. The first one is ET, the second one is BT, as you can tell. So 72 and 74 degrees. Yeah. Would the PT100 work with Artisan? Yeah, absolutely. These two units are still using Highbeam is literally using the TC4 protocol because we set it up in the way where I was like, I really literally wanted to use this Josh's sketch and just say and send it to Highbeam. And then what's his face? Will was like, okay, that's fine. So I'm still trying to keep everything the same as Sky Command, try to keep whatever Josh was working on. Kind of keep it embedded in it because I want to, I want to keep what really started off this whole thing. So I want to make sure that the way he set it up and how it sends out the TC4 protocol is about the same. It's a little bit more different with V2 because V2 uses like a modified version of it that we had to work on, but I want to just keep the Skywalker V1s using the same protocol overall. So it should be able to work with Artisan if I set it up the right way. Yeah, I did do it already with one of the ESP32 units, where I was actually able to do both Artisan and High Beam without using a logic level converter. I'm still trying to figure out how that happens because I just don't understand why all of a sudden we're able to connect the newer boards. And I probably should ask Sloppy Josh about that because I think that was one of the issues was the main controller boards in here. The boards in here are only 5V tall, like 5V signal, and then ESP32 is 3.3. So for a while we couldn't communicate with the ESP32 unit, which is why we went back to the Arduinos, but Arduino Nano specifically, the Atmega chipset. But now recent units, and I noticed all the units with relays and all the ones that have that are set up to have that are all the new safety features. I think they're like communicate in 3V and 5V. I don't know if they're tolerant. I'm not sure how it's working, but if anything, we no longer need a logic level converter for the newer boards, I think, from what I'm gathering. So it should work with Artisan just as well. Yeah, so now I want to set it up to where, so now it easily communicates with each other and you don't have to buy an ESP32 specifically or stuck with the Arduino. Now you could have the ESP32 communicate to both Artisan and High Beam. There's a video I did a while back where I literally had Artisan running in the background and then High Beam doing all the roasting of work just to test out dropouts. So if the connection were to drop out, then it would still work on Artisan. You just wouldn't have the ROR curve anymore. It's like a backup solution. But that's how we're kind of trending right now. Is just making the ESP32 be able to work with both and keep it free in terms of the code, not to try to force people into purchasing free code. The spirit of open source. But all right, I think that's probably it. I might stream tomorrow. I'm kind of curious. I want to do High Beam again, but use the just a regular NTC probe unit and see how it follows that curve. And see how well that works out. I also do want to do a PID. I just don't know how I'm going to set that up. I got to ask no one to see how he set up the ESP32 with the PID control. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or I already posted up this roast, so it's on high beam. I think the next one I'll do is I'm gonna use Artisan Designer. I'm gonna try to copy what's his name? Rob Hoose's curve for his geshes. I also want to try that too, see if it'll work. But I have to get the PID set up, so we'll see how that works out. He came out with the book called Cultivar, and it has all these like different beans he roasted with and like the recommended curves that he liked them at. So I think I'm gonna try and duplicate those curves, but I just need to get a working PID solution up. Um, that's a lot of beans. I'm in a moment right now where I just have way too many roasted beans, and I might have to start giving it away. I probably shouldn't have roasted with like geisha beans before. Like they're kind of expensive. These ones were like $17 a pound, but I know I've easily heard that some of them, depending on the fancy place they come from, is like up to $30 a pound. So I feel like I got like discount geisha beans. So they taste great. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm doing it at medium. I know a lot of people like to roast geisha beans at like super light, white roasting. I don't know. I think that's a thing, but yeah. Anyways, I think that'll be it for today. Thanks for tuning in, I guess, and then let me know if you're interested in a Skywalker unit. I should have more time now to be able to make these refurb units. I just have to come up with a little 3D printed case for this. I probably shouldn't touch your bare hand, but I need to come up with a nicer 3D printed looking case because I just kind of directly soldered it in. But if you have any questions, concerns, let me know. Or if you need help, I kind of want to open it up to people starting off with their roasters. Like if you want to do a roast along session with me, I can put you on Discord and we can kind of roast together. Or I also would like to be able to talk with other like people who've had the Skywalker for a long time and see how they're roasting with it. Get them on stream too. Just get the community involved. And then, oh, one other thing too is yeah, Mike, I agree. I have a Kaleido that I've been meaning to roast with, but I think I need to sell it. At this point, it's just collecting dust, and I think somebody else could get better use out of it. I honestly think that the only difference is just the build quality is amazing, but taste-wise, it tastes both the same to me. Not to say that you shouldn't buy Kaleido. I mean, you should buy Kaleido because you know they're going to work out the box. They already have implemented PID control. I think that's okay, and a lot of people praise them. But if you want a fun little cheap roaster, there's nothing wrong with the Skywalker at all. Um, I just gotta see how many people would want a PT100 setup in theirs. What else was I gonna do? Yeah, I just got to spend a night fixing refurbing a bunch of these V1s, and making sure they all work. I'm running into a lot of like drum scraping issues, so I got to figure out what's going on with that. I don't know if that's a very common thing. And I think I'll be probably doing even more streaming when it comes to like when the Nova Roaster comes out. I'm obviously gonna pick that up, or Cubine. I'm gonna pick that one up, and then the next roaster I'll get is probably gonna be that large one. I don't know if there's an official name for it yet, but Cater Joy has it. Just a large 1 kilogram roaster. It only has 1,600 watts at 220 volts. I'm not quite sure if that's enough to roast that amount, but we're gonna find out. Yeah, I'll get you set up with that, Mike. Let me go find that unit that fell off the truck. I'm gonna pull all the parts out of it. I'll sell you the panel. Oh, there's so much I want to do, but I'm so limited on time. But I am glad that I reduced my time at my other job so I could kind of work on this new place where it's a lot easier and pays more. Oh yeah, I just ordered the motor. I think it's in the country. I ordered the exact same motor that's in the V2. It's the it's in the V2. I am going to do a series called build a V2 where I'm gonna literally gonna take all the cool parts of the V2 and put it in a V1. I don't think I'll be able to. Actually, I'll see if I can order a spare controller board. I think they're only like $40, and then I'm just gonna show you how to like modify a V1 into a V2. One thing that I have to figure out, and I gotta figure out what I gotta ask Sloppy Josh how he figured out the how he reverse engineered the signals being sent. I think it was pretty easy. I gotta figure out what signals are being sent to turn Bluetooth on to the controller, so we don't have to rely on the tablet. Because right now, if you want to have a V2 board work on a V1, you have to have the tablet send a command over to turn Bluetooth on, and it has to be attached to this. What I'm thinking is emulating that signal with the ESP32 and just sending it to it to so it's constantly on Bluetooth mode and don't have to worry about it. And that should save a few dollars on the cost. That'll be one of the build series I'm gonna do. So if not, I'm gonna use Edmund Wika's board as the main board to use. Yeah, Mike, there's not that much difference between a V1 and a V2. I like the V2 board. It costs $40, easily accessible. You just need the tablet to be able to turn Bluetooth on, so it sends everything. But I think if I do this right, I got a logic analyzer that I'm gonna analyze the signals that come out of the tablet that it sends into the roaster. I've already analyzed one of the packets that it sends over to tell it to turn Bluetooth on, and I think if I should be able to get the ESP32 to emulate that. I think that's why I have to, I'm glad Sloppy Josh is back on Discord so I could bug him about how he did it. But I did notice, like, when I hooked it up to my logic analyzer, I was able to see it, like, send, like, a little pack of information. It was, like, in hex or something. I got to figure out how to do that. But yeah, so that next series will be turning a V1 into V2, which literally is the things I'll be changing is I got the motor mounts already. I think I sent one to you. And then the same motor mount, I would have to implement a cooling fan. I already have a nice little blower fan that I want to put in, but I also want to make a custom case to house that blower so it both draws airs in and cools off the thing like what's that thing called, the heatsink, while also blowing air towards the motor. So I have to angle it to like suck air in, takes air in from the outside, so I'll have to drill holes on the outside of the case, and then it'll suck the air in to cool off this heat sink, and while it does that, it'll blow air towards the drum motor, and that should cool it, sufficiently cool it. I probably should take temperatures of how hot the new brushless motor is, but so I got the mount, and then I got the same setup that Renatoa has for putting the mount onto the drum. So I bought all those parts, and then I think those are two of the main things. Those are the two biggest things. And then for tablet, I don't like the tablet, so I'm just going to use High Beam. I think that'll be mostly it. Hopefully, I'll figure it out. But that'll be the next build series, is turning a V1 into a V2. There's only two big major changes that really I think are worth it. Are the drum motor is brushless. Oh yeah, and then I have to get a Arduino connected board to be able to control the drum motor. Okay. So Sloppy Josh says if it's the same protocol, I think it's similar to the same protocol, but yeah, I still think it's similar to the same protocol as it. It's I know it's different. Someone told me it's like it sounds a bit more bits or something. I have no idea. I'll have to look at it again. But I was playing with the logic analyzer and I would press the button and I would see it would send a packet, and I'd be like, okay, I have to analyze that. I think I got I got some fancy one that's able to like replicate that same signal over. So I'll try that. But yeah, mainly. And then, so like I said, so if I'm using the original board, it doesn't have the driver for the brushless motor, so I'll have to buy a. I think there's a separate board where you can buy it where it'll control the drum motor. So I'm either want that to be ran on Artist, like I want to have that ran through Artisan, so it controls it. So it has to connect to like the Arduino unit or the ESP32, or yeah, it's hard to get it centered. Mike saying like I'm having trouble with the mount of the worm drive because I made a mount for it, but I don't know. I think fitment is weird. Um, so I'm gonna try it again. I might readjust it or something. I might have to make bigger holes on it. But this is why I like the drum. I like using the stepper driver method where you put like a pulley on the drum. I think it's like a 60 tooth pulley, and then you do like I think it's 60 tooth, and then a 20 tooth pulley, and you put on a stepper driver motor, and that setup worked really well. It's quieter. It's less based on like centering it. It just requires a stepper driver, and it works. A 2209 stepper driver. It works really well for one of my earlier V1s that has admin Nuica's ESP32 board, not ESP3, STM32 board. The board he made is actually really nice. It just uses a thermocouple. It's probably like maybe if you consider that like one of the things, like a mood point. I believe the mount should stand further off the post of the housing. Okay. Is it easy modifiable on that? Because I know it's an aluminum mount, so. Oh, and the biggest thing of why I want to do V1 to V2, because I want to show you them that it's kind of a dick move charging us $400 more when we could maybe modify our V1 to be almost similar for less than a. I want to say you could do it for less than 100 without the tablet. Because one of these V1 units, to produce one of these units from the factory only cost $150. Um, I talked to someone, and yeah, so it really shouldn't cost $800 for a V2. Like I get it, like the V1 costs about $400, so they got to make profit. They got to eat, but the amount of like minor fixes that they put in the V2, um, it doesn't warrant it to be $800. I think for 550, I think that's fine. But yeah, I just don't think they should be charging $800 for this. So this will be kind of just a notification like, hey, I literally just changed my V1 into a V2, and all I needed to order was the brushless drum motor and the driver board an ESP32. I think you get away with it just doing that much. There's not much different else, and everything else is the same. That's why I think I like the group buy price where it's at right now, because it's about $550. It went up in price because of, I don't know. We just, you know, they just wanted to raise the price, but that's fine. So it's $550 plus whatever shipping and everything is like that. So you might be up to like $600, so it might be worth it now. But at $800 with free shipping, I didn't think it was worth it. M4 spaces, probably. I bought some M3 spaces, but they are painful to put in. Oh, okay. So the motor too close to the drum. Oh, further away from the housing. Okay. It's a tight fit back there, but I get you. But I think I want to find someone with the original V2, and they had the stubby round motor in it. I want to see what motor that was and try to reinstall that, because on the V2s there is like a little circular motor area that it obviously was fitted for it, but they decided to go with the worm drive. So I want to go ahead and I want to check that out whenever I get a chance and see if I could put that in as well. But yeah, all right. So I'm gonna head out. I got to clean up the house and happy wife, happy life. So if you have any questions, I'll be on Discord. I'll be on free Thursdays and Fridays. So if you have any questions or want to do some roasting, let me know. But anyways, thanks for joining me. All 5 of you or 10 of you. I don't know how many there's listening in, coming in and out, but we'll try to do more roasting stuff, related stuff too. And there'll also be a guest lecture. Why I say guest lecture? It'll be Rob Hoos. I'm trying to get him on here. He's gonna kind of tell us about his thoughts of the Skywalker V1 and roasting with it. Who's clues? I'm gonna make a logo. This is like the logo right now I have set up, but I want to do a Who's Clues logo. Oh, look how fancy we did this thing right here. Sky Cowboy. This is not with PID. This is with heat beam tracking. So I kind of kept with it. It's still pretty good. No AI. Oh man. It followed it pretty well. I don't know. I lose more and more like desire to get PID control working if I could just do heat beam control and do the same batch. Shit, I ain't rewriting Artisan. I'll have to find my buddy that does art and see if he could do a Who's Clues thing for me. Is it business? Stronghold? Is that fancy roaster that everyone roasts with at the aficionados Discord? Cropster? I thought Cropster was like, are all set to go. In honesty, did you fix your mic yet? I like that we have artisan and high beam because we are totally professionals here, and when 100% we get paid all the profits. Oh, we even have crewless here now. Got all the high level. We have all the high level Skywalker folks here, ski top folks, the legacies. I should put Krillus' legacy. I always think of when I think of Krillus, I always think of ice cream cones because he put like a little ice cream cone on his like his LCD screen. We need marketing whiz Cam here and super technician Edmund Wiga, and then we'll have a real party. I don't know why. Every time I see your name, I always think of ice cream cones. Oh, missing. Yeah, obviously we need noob. With our powers combined, we have high beam and artisan working. Well, high beam kind of works. It was dicked for a little bit when they put up that new patch for it or item for it, and everyone's all shut down, and people are asking me questions and getting mad. By the way, if you get mad at me at all for high beam, I'm just gonna laugh at you, just because this is not my field of work. I am not a engineer or any kind of programmer. I am I'm an occupational therapist by trade. By trade, so I deal with things like working with people with spinal cord injuries, strokes, CVAs, and things like that. This is all just kind of a hobby for me. But if you do ask me why high beam integration is not that great, I'll tell you is because the guy who programmed it only programmed in Visual Basic before. Sorry. Yeah, Visual Basic's pretty gross. I got a C in that class. It's kind of embarrassing. I gotta find a schedule that works for all of us to get on here, and then get a mic, and then just talk. Because I think that'd be fun. On the next stream, I'm gonna start doing these like every Thursday now because I got a new job, so I don't have to like. Well, I still gotta pick up my kids and things like that, but. And then next week I'm going to Legoland, so I won't be able to go on the stream. But this one time I was like roasting really well, and then I was like, "Fuck, I gotta pick up my kid." I got there on time. He got there happy. Only like 5 minutes away, driving distance from my school, kid's school. Oh, I'm gonna have you speak then if you're gonna request to speak. Hello? Did it work? You're on the mic now, Mathwiz. Tell us what you're roasting with. Do I need to unmute you? Oh no, I think you just muted yourself. Oh no, I think he might be playing with it. Like sometimes we'll get those random people in the voice channel. I've always wanted to hop in and just talk with them. Did I mute him? Can I unmute him? Hold on. No, no, no. I think he's muted on his end, right? Okay. He doesn't have a mic. But that's your goal for next week, or not next, the week after is getting a mic, and then either Sloppy Josh or Sky Cowboy has to be on the stream, and then no, then I want to roast, and you just shit on my roast the whole time. Like, oh look, there's a flick and a crash, trash, throw it away. Oh, you hit 8 minutes and 5 seconds. That's not a Nordic roast. Toss it, trash. You went 5 seconds over a first crack, and now you're a black roast. Or you're a dark roast. The Quakers pick up really. I'll have a blast roasting with everybody. I just want. Oh, we should do that on the voice channel. We'll just have all our cameras on, and then with the voice streaming, and we'll just roast at the same time. Ah, don't worry about it, Mathwiz. I was hoping you would give us your sage wisdom on roasting, because I think I've seen you here for a long time too. So I'm curious to see what the original people who bought this roaster, like in early 2023, or was it 23 or 24? I forget what year, when they bought this roaster and what they were like thinking. Yeah, it doesn't look bad for following heat tracking. Cam was telling me like he's been roasting with it and he did back to back roasts using heat tracking, and he's like, this is so much easier. Why the fuck do I need PIDs for? So now I'm wondering, like, do I really need PID tuning? I think I'm gonna do where I just set up a nice roast on that bean, and I'm just gonna follow that profile every single time using heat tracking. I thought it followed it pretty well, and every day I'm starting to wonder if like PID, like roasting that way is even worth it. I guess it is. I don't know. Maybe the upper echelon roasting people will tell me that I'm wrong, but there's only one person I can think of that is yeah, Artisan can do the same thing. Artisan can do the same thing. It's just a bitch to set up, I think. Like I tried setting it up, I'm like, this sucks. But then when I did it here, it's just like, oh look, follow this. I did it, and then it just replays it. Yeah, if it tastes good, yo, yeah, I'm all about that. Like every time I have a shit roast and I look at the ROR curve, I'm like, man, this is gonna taste like shit. And I drink it, and I'm like, this tastes great. I'm at the point where I'm roasting coffee, like all this coffee tastes great. I haven't had a bad one. Well, I had a bad. I don't think it's a bad roast. I think it's just I don't like the beans that taste like fire. It tastes like burnt trees. Oh, I did what you said. So I did I roasted the geishas to a medium, like a darker, like a medium, away from the light and more towards a medium. So instead of like a minute and 30 and leave it for the first crack, I went down to like 2 minutes and a few seconds. Yeah, it tastes. I think it tastes way better medium. That I just like medium better. There was more. There was what's that word? Body. Something about body. Like I was tasting it, I was like, I like whatever that leftover residual thing that I taste. I don't know if that's body, but it's like it's not strong, but it's just like it's something in the mouth. And I was just kind of like, this is pretty good. It didn't taste like because when I do light, it actually tastes like it's to me it tastes like tea. But there's like a little bit of I guess maybe that's a bolder flavor, but I think it's body. I think that's what I'm tasting. I think I'm realizing that I do like something with a more complex body or something. And also, I've been smelling them, and I could kind of tell like if I reach the dry end phase and they smell kind of sweet. I noticed that on my last roast, and I did a cupping of that, and I really liked it. But I started I didn't cup it. I brewed some this morning with my wife. Oh, and then I also got like a legitimate like water filter, like a reverse osmosis water filter, instead of just pouring water from my faucet. I didn't really think it was going to change the flavor, but it actually it did. It made the coffee taste a whole lot better. Am I tasting different water then? No, but we've been having like, yeah, I think you're right. That was this morning. Now I feel bad. Yeah, there was I think I'm gonna make a jug and start putting that third wave stuff in because I did that with Rob Hoose's like coffee set thing, and I was like, this is pretty fucking good coffee. It has like a little, the thing has like this little cap, and it like remineralizes water. But I want to try that third wave thing where you add that little packet in 5 gallons, and then you have like the water ready to go. I have some third wave packets. I No, I don't. I ran out. I used them all. But I feel like I should purchase them. But I am getting to the point now. Like I'm understanding because I remember I go to the Espresso Aficionados Discord and I'll be like, "There's a whole section on water," which I thought was just maybe an extended April 1st joke until I realized it was there for a whole year. And I was like, "Oh, I think I have to start paying attention more to water." Because I would filter the water because I filtered my espresso water with some, but it wasn't a fancy like reverse osmosis system. Yeah, I was looking at like recipes for water, and I was like, oh, I should probably do a recipe for water. And I was like, I think I just like third wave packet where I just put it in 5 gallon jug and then I'm good to go. I think we have pretty hard water where I live, so I have to like figure that out. On through carbon, that's all I need. Okay, that's good to know. Shit, I just gave away my old Brita filter too. That's all right. I'll just have to like fill up a jug of it and then just save that for brewing. Because we for our morning coffee we just do Technovore. We do the Mocha Master, just easy. And then when I'm at work, I'll do my Aeropress. Does carbon or remove mineral content? I think some stay. I don't know what. I don't think it completely removes it. I think you have to do something like what's that called? Reverse osmosis and then distilled water, and then you would add the packets in for to remineralize it to taste mo better. Oh dang! You're in the middle of all those tornadoes, man. Well, Math Liz, I wish you the best. Hopefully, you don't have to deal with any more of those tornadoes. I always get shocked when people from like Tornado Alley will come to California and their only thing they're scared of is like an earthquake coming. And I'll be like, we haven't had a real earthquake since like Northridge. And that was like 1980s or something. But yeah, stay safe. That is true. Those California droughts are freaking wild. We actually had a lot of snow this year, so I think we're fortunate enough to have we're out of the drought all our Yeah, mudslides too. That's been a issue. But fires have been the biggest thing. Like LA, the Santa Ana wind fires. The Santa Ana wind is no joke. There's a reason why when the Santa Ana winds blow in Los Angeles, the increase of like suicide rates come up because people are fucking miserable living in Bakersfield or Barstow or all those other like shitty little towns between LA and Northern California. Yeah, the crazy suicide winds. That was a big thing. I remember in the 90s, they'd be like, Santa Ana winds are coming, and then there's an increase in like suicide rates. I was like, what? I was living in like the Mojave Desert, and I'm like, I can see why. That place is the pits. But stay safe, Math Wiz. Hopefully, hopefully it passes you up, and you're not in any kind of imminent danger. High ground. Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right. So I'm gonna head out. I got to clean up the house before my wife realizes I've been dicking around on stream. She hasn't figured out that I've been streaming, so um, so I'll catch y'all's later. There's gonna be a point where she's gonna find out if I been streaming and why there's like 2 hours of like time gone and the house still looks like shit. All right. Anyways, thanks for joining us. I'll see you next in 2 weeks. I might put out like a little V2 video in the meanwhile, or a little streaming coding session trying to put this on High Beam. Have this support it. I think it's already all set up. I just had to figure out how they want me to send the Agtron levels to them, but yeah. Anyways, I'll see y'all later.